Brian Westbrook, this was everyone's first weekend of football. Nobody had a preseason. No one really had OTA. So a lot of these teams are really getting to know each other for the first time. What did you make with personnel? What did you make of what Mike McCarthy had to say?
Well, I think he's absolutely right. The honeymoon is over. The reason why you bring Mike McCarthy in is to win right away. And most times when you're a new head coach going into a situation, you just don't have a bunch of talent on your team. This is most times. I guess the Browns would be a little bit different. But on this football team in Dallas, I mean, you have a ready-made offense. You have an all-star running back. You have a very good quarterback. You had an offensive line that came into the season as one of the better offensive lines in the league. And then you have 3 receivers on the offensive side of the ball that all think they can get over 1,000 yards to be number 1 receivers. Defense, I mean, you paid a bunch of people money on the defensive side of the ball. So this team should be ready-made to win. You kind of also have to mention there's been a lot of analysts, there's been a lot of people that talk about football and coaches as well that think that this team the Cowboys have the opportunity to make it in the talent to make it to the Super Bowl. So, of course, this is win-now mode for Mike McCarthy and this football team, and we did not see that in the first week. And I have to be honest, I'll tell you guys this. When I saw Mike McCarthy come into this team, I'm saying, with the year off, I'm thinking I'm going to get Andy Reid creativity. I think I'm going to get Kyle Shanahan type of creativity and play design. Exactly. And what we saw this week was not that. We didn't see a bunch of motions. We didn't see a bunch of guys moving around. We didn't see a bunch of players just being open down the field, wide open down the field, kind of the same way that we see in San Francisco. We saw a vanilla, plain Jane type of offense, and maybe it was because they didn't have the preseason. But if this football team wants to beat the good teams, which last year they struggled to do, they have to find a way offensively to do something totally different than they did in the first week.
Oh, come on, Brian. Did you really think you could teach an old dog new tricks? I mean, everybody thought that, but you're right, man. There was only a few little wrinkles here. I absolutely feel bad for Coach McCarthy. He is in the worst spot you can be in as a coach. Let's look at this graphic and see all the teams with new head coaches. And you tell me, out of all these coaches, these 5 coaches, who has more pressure? It's Coach McCarthy. Nobody. And here's why.
Yep. Without a doubt.
Listen, he's talking about this honeymoon. They've been on this honeymoon since Tony Romo bobbled the snap in the playoffs. We've been talking about this team as if they've been the New England Patriots. Every single year, every single week, we're talking about them being contenders, and they haven't done anything. Now, I do think they have everything they need. I do like Coach McCarthy as a leader. But, yes, as the play caller and being creative, it's just not there. I just think he's in a tough spot, and I think it's time for them to move on. This is all about what they can change on offense. And I don't put it on Coach McCarthy because he's not going to change. But who can change is Dak Prescott. Okay, Nick, when you look at Dak, he needs to run more. I talked about it yesterday. He's so dynamic as a runner. We saw it on 3rd down when the game was on the line just the other night. He needs to do that in the first quarter, the second quarter, 3rd quarter, and the 4th quarter. He needs to do that every time he can.
Brandon, you're absolutely
Brian,
right. Wilds, can I?
Go ahead.
Oh, I apologize, Wilds. Can I? You're the person that does the analogies on the show, so I want to run one by you. To continue Mike McCarthy's metaphor of our honeymoon is over. Because if you're a Cowboys fan, you feel like you're on your 2nd marriage, and right after the honeymoon, you're like, oh my God, she's the exact same person as my ex, and I'm terrified. It's like, wait, did we lose a close game? Check. Was play calling curious? Check. Was the clock management disastrous? Check. Did we have a vanilla offense? Check. It's like, this is why I'm not, I've moved on, yet I feel like I'm in the exact same place. So if you're, listen, I picked the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl, Wilds, so I'm not abandoning ship after 1 week. But a lot of the same bugaboos that bit them last year were why they lost week 1, Wilds.
So I'll throw it to Brian. What do you want to see creatively, specifically? Because to the untrained eye, I'm like, if CeeDee Lamb gets that 1st down, it's a different ballgame. I like him going forward, but maybe they kick that field goal. But did you want to see just for the sake of sending a message some wild play down the field, something super creative? What did you want to see specifically?
No, I wanted to see an offense that was much more wide open. An offense that uses shifts and motions early on, before the play even starts, just to get a defense off balance, to put a defense in a bad situation. There were just too many times I felt like the defense had a very good idea of exactly what the Cowboys were going to do. And probably because of what Brandon pointed out, that Mike McCarthy hasn't changed very much, which in everything that he said before the season, he had changed a lot. He has been in the lab trying to figure out how to do different things in the NFL, bring out different things for this football team. I want to see an explosive offense that's going down the field, that's going to be attacking. You have 3 wide receivers that can go get it. Go allow those guys to go down the field and make some plays. And I think that Dak has the ability to throw the ball down there and get those completions. I would love to see a lot more of Tony Pollard out of the backfield. His ability to affect the game with his speed and quickness, I still think is there. And I'll say this. You look at the next 4 games that the Cowboys have. Atlanta, at Seattle, Cleveland, and the Giants. If they don't find a way to I think they'll beat Cleveland and the Giants, the last 2 of this next 4. But if they don't find a way to win at least 3 of these next 4, then they're going to be in the same situation as they were last year, beating the bad teams and losing to the good teams, and that's a bad situation.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.